How long does it take to quit smoking? Nasir was here. One of the questions you ask me really often is how long does it take to quit smoking? Maybe you don't know how long it takes because you have a significant life event coming up like a wedding, reaching a certain age, or any other life milestone. Maybe you need surgery you can't have unless you quit smoking. Or maybe you think quitting is hard and painful and you just don't want it to last for a long time. If there is another reason, let me know in the comments. In this video, I will explain how long it takes to quit smoking. Stay tuned. Before we get started, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button so you can get notified when we release more videos that will help you on your journey. So, first of all, we need to make an important distinction. Smoking is a mental and a physical addiction. It is 80% mental and 20% physical. The mental dependence on smoking is your desire for cigarettes. In other words, how smoking makes you feel and how much you believe you enjoy it, need it, and how ingrained it is in your life. And only 20% of smoking is the physical addiction to nicotine, the substance that first hooked you to this habit. So the smoking addiction has two different parts. So I will explain how long it takes to quit smoking physically and then how long it takes to quit smoking mentally. Let's start with physically. Nicotine as a substance, it has a short half-life, which means that it quickly leaves the body. So once you smoke your last cigarette, nicotine leaves your body in 3 to 5 days only. After the third day, almost all nicotine has left your system, and that's when your cravings peak. And after day 5, the physical cravings start to subside. So once you smoke your last cigarette, overcoming the physical dependence on smoking is a matter of time. It takes 3 to 5 days. Now, if you will be tested for tobacco use, for your insurance, for surgery, you need to know that these tests don't actually look for nicotine because it leaves your body so quickly. They look for cotinine. Nicotine breaks down into metabolites, and the most important of those is cotinine, and this will be gone in about 3 weeks from your body. If you want to know more about the different types of tests that test for tobacco use, check the resources below this video. So, the physical addiction is gone 3 to 5 days after you stop smoking. But the mental addiction is a bit different, because the mental addiction has to do with how much you believe you enjoy and need smoking and how much part of your life it is. It all has to do with how you think about smoking, and that's why it can take months, even years, to overcome the mental addiction if you don't take the necessary steps and you don't change how you see smoking. So overcoming the mental addiction is not a matter of time, it's a matter of going through the right process. And the truth is that none of the common methods out there teaches you how to be mentally free from smoking and go through this process and overcome the mental addiction in a systematic, strategic, and reliable way. For example, taking nicotine replacement, vaping, or pills without working on your mental dependence, you will still feel you miss smoking. If you go cold turkey, you quit gradually, or take herbs and natural remedies, and you don't work on your mental dependence, you will still feel you need smoking and you will still want to smoke. If you do hypnosis without consciously working on your mental dependence, you will eventually want to smoke. But if you change how you think about smoking, you will not want to smoke anymore and you're going to overcome the mental addiction. Now the question is, how to overcome the mental addiction? When I was a smoker, I was struggling to succeed. I failed miserably so many times, and eventually I reached my breaking point. I was either gonna give up or give it my all. So I decided to use my background in psychology and figure out what helps people quit easily. So I interviewed thousands of smokers, ex-smokers, doctors, and experts. I did months of research. I read every book on neuroscience, addiction, and human behavior that I could find. And after a while, I started noticing some patterns. I started noticing that happy non-smokers, people who were mentally free from smoking, people who didn't miss smoking, they had some things in common. They all went through certain steps and stages, whether they were aware of it or not. So I put these stages in a method that everyone can use to succeed, including myself. And after years of fine-tuning this method with my team, it's become what is now the CBQ Method. And the CBQ Method consists of 4 quit smoking stages that I talk about in my TED Talk. Now I'll just name these 4 stages, but if you want to learn more about them, check the links below this video and make sure you get the foundational video of the CBQ method because I go more in depth there. Okay, so the first stage of the CBQ method is choose to quit. The first stage prepares you to quit so you can make a real decision and commit to quitting smoking. Because listen, quitting smoking, it's not gonna happen by accident. You need to decide. Now the second stage is cultivate your potential and crush the fear of quitting. In this stage, you remove the fears that stop you from becoming a non-smoker, like the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, the fear of how we'll be without our cigarettes. So you remove those fears so you can believe that quitting smoking is possible and believe that you can do it. Then the third stage is change your smoking pattern. In this stage, you break your smoking habit, weaken your triggers, overcome the desire for smoking, and smoke your last cigarette. And a big part of the stage is knowing how to cope with your cravings and stop seeing smoking as something that adds value to your life. And the last stage is condition your smoke-free life. This stage is about remaining a happy non-smoker without feeling deprived or relapsing, because it's not enough to stop smoking. You have to remain smoke-free. You have to protect your quit. So these 4 stages are the necessary steps and phases and changes you need to go through so you can quit smoking easily. Now, how long should you spend on every stage? The truth is, as long as you need to so you can complete the stage, but I'm going to give you a guideline. You can spend 2 to 4 days on every stage, which is what our program members do when you're focused on quitting smoking and you have a goal and a quit date, or you can spend a week on every stage. Now, it's not wrong to spend more than a week, but it's just that sometimes when we stretch things, life gets in the way and we lose the momentum. But what matters is going through the stages properly, overcoming the mental addiction. So it's not about time passing, it's about going through the right changes. So make sure you're done with every stage before moving on to the next one. Now, a question you may have right now is, how will I know I am over the mental addiction? I'm going to give you some pointers. So when you're mentally free from smoking, you don't see smoking as who you are, but you see it as something that you used to do. You don't hate smoking, you don't hate other smokers, of course not. You just choose to break up with it. You simply say, I don't do this anymore. And when you have a craving thought, when the craving mind starts telling you to smoke, you talk yourself out of it. You don't resist your cravings with willpower, you just talk yourself out of it. And you see your craving thoughts like, I need a cigarette right now, or a cigarette would make me feel better. You see your craving thoughts as separate from yourself. And here's the thing, when you're mentally free from smoking, you don't need to use your willpower. Instead, you use your mind power. Because think about it, do you need any willpower to resist eating rat poison or ammonia or acetone? Of course not, because they're disgusting and harmful chemicals, right? Well, tobacco has inside arsenic, ammonia, and acetone. And the only reason why you want it is because you believe that it offers you something. That's all the mental addiction. Now I have a video where I explain what's inside your cigarettes. You can check it out. But what I want you to take away is that when you see smoking for the poison it is, not a friend, not a crutch, not the thing that gets you through hard times, but when you see smoking as simply a sum of chemicals, you don't want it anymore. So you don't need to use willpower to resist it because there's nothing to resist. And when you're no longer mentally dependent on smoking, you have no anxiety, no irritation, and you don't feel deprived because you don't smoke. And of course, when cigarettes are out of the question for you, the nicotine withdrawal symptoms won't even bother you because the mind is free and the mind affects the body. Now, I know that the idea of the withdrawal, being able to overcome the withdrawal easily without substitutes and all those things is controversial. That's why I create a playlist in our YouTube channel. You can find it. That's all about withdrawal and cravings and how to overcome them easily with the power of your mind. So check it out if you're worried about withdrawal. So to sum up, smoking is a mental and a physical addiction. The physical addiction goes away 3 to 5 days after your last cigarette, but the mental addiction goes away after you go through the 4 quit smoking stages. You can spend 2 to 4 days on every stage, up to a week, but the important thing is that going through these 4 stages and overcoming the mental addiction, it's not about time passing, it's about going through the right process. So like I said before, we took what happy non-smokers had in common and we put it in a method that everyone can use to succeed, and we kept refining it over the years. And that is the CBQ method. The CBQ method helps you find quitting easy because you take control of your mind. And I want to show you how you can start applying the CBQ method to your own life and find quitting easy. So if you want to know how to get started with the CBQ method, why it works and why it can work for you, we created a video where I put everything you need to get started with the CBQ method. It is free and it's the foundational video of the CBQ method, and of course you're gonna find tips for every stage. So make sure you get it, the link is in the description, and you're also going to get a free PDF starter guide for the CBQ method. And this guide is great. It shows you what happens on every stage, it has notes and the more tips. So I think you're gonna love it. Get the video and let me know in the comments, how long do you think it takes to quit smoking? If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.